So, yeah, I don't really. I saw this yesterday, which was April 1st, where I put out a very intrusive video. If you want to see that, I'll link it in the description. But Genji got a buff. I saw that yesterday before I went to bed, and the same with Ashe also got a buff, and Mei got a rebalancing, and Pharah got a little bit of a change in her direction, and Reinhardt also got a nerf. And I was just sitting there like, this might, because some of the changes, especially the one for Genji, is so tiny that it's a really shitty April Fool's joke. But at the same time, I'm not taking any risks. But I woke up today, it's April 2nd. So yeah, Genji got a buff. So with no further ado, my beautiful lovely gamers, I think we should talk about it. Of course, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. It helps our channel grow and also keeps you notified. And of course, it helps against YouTube's algorithm, helps promote the channel, helps promote the video, which is greatly appreciated. Genji got his secondary fire, so his right clicks got a very tiny, like smaller than my penis tiny buff. Recovery lowered from 0.75 to 0.65 seconds, meaning his recovery time between his shot, also known as his fire rate, has been, so he shoots 0.1 second faster than what he normally would be, which is a ridiculous low buff. And you can see on the screen right now, this is the fire rate that we're talking about. That is 0.1 second. And you can see it. It's visually there, and it feels smooth. It feels better. It's almost like when they gave him an ammo increase. Like, that feels better, you know? It's a little bit of a quality of life. But it doesn't really do much drastically changing Genji, which you can argue for or against, right? Genji is already pretty strong, and if you're good on Genji, you can do a lot on him, especially on solo queue. Giving him too much of a buff is scary. He will start hard carrying. He will be very difficult and very frustrating to play against. One of the things that I've said every single time they try to buff him, I say, please increase his shuriken damage by 2. That's all I want. I just want it to go from 28 to 30. I'll link a video down in the description where I explain and go over the math of why it should be increased by 2. Now, let's talk about Ashe. So, Ashe got a buff that I love. I played it a little bit, and it's really fucking good. It's such a quality of life, something that we talked about. So, her gun magazine size has increased from 12 to 15, so 3 more rounds, which is nice because it's the problem with Ashe is that her longer sustained fire without breaks could quickly get cancelled. So 3 more bullets actually makes a big difference in between the shots and picks that she can get before she will have to start or be forced to go into a reload animation. But that's not the best. The best is that shots no longer queue up the next shot if pressed slightly before recovery has finished, which is fine. That's what made her feel sometimes a little bit junky. And even better than that, unscoped shots to reach maximum spread increased from 4 to 6, meaning you need more shots to increase the maximum spread, so she's a little bit more accurate with the hip fire. Unscoped shots can now be fired much more quickly after firing a scope shot. So when you scope, you can scope, unscope, and almost immediately shoot your hip fire with her. And it's such a good feeling, and you can see it on the screen. The same goes. You can now start reloading much more quickly after firing a scope shot. And it's not much more quickly. It's like, it feels like this is how it should have been on Sachi. It's no longer clunky where you scope and then you try to shoot, the gun is down, the gun is ready, but for some weird reason it won't fire. Or you unscope and there's like what feels like half an hour delay before she starts to reload. That would increase, that would removing some of the jankiness, with queuing up shots, increase her mag size, and make her hip fire a little bit better because it could be a little bit at times. I think it's just such a good quality of life on Ashe, and one of the heroes that I will start playing way more now, as she doesn't feel as clunky and is much, much stronger than what she seems to be. Of course, again, if you don't have the aim to use Ashe, this doesn't change. So this doesn't change any of the stats or anything like that. If you're skilled with Ashe, you will just be far more skilled with her now. So if you liked Ashe and you want to pick her up, you didn't like her before maybe because of some of the clunkiness, but you like the design, you're a good hit player, highly recommend if this Ashe actually goes onto the live server that you go and try out. Now, then we go some changes to Mei. Her endothermic blaster. Yes, I have a university degree soon, so I know fancy words like that. Maximum ammo reduced from 200 to 120, which seems like a nerf, right? You know, taking 80 ammo away from her. But her secondary fire, the ammo has been reduced from 20 to 10. So they have reduced, essentially, you can do practically the same amount, if not more, ice spikes by this. You can actually do more ice spikes now than what you could before, more secondary fires. But the primary fire, the one that most people hate, which is the lock-on freeze, is far more resource heavy, as you can't keep it up for as long because you just lost 80 ammo, or 40% of your ammo just got cut out of the equation, which is actually pretty insane. And I love this because, again, it's far more reliant on hitting the right clicks, hitting the primary fire, and actually having aim, than just mouse one freezing somebody and then killing them, which sometimes can be very frustrating. So I applaud this. It's also a really good nerf to make, because even in professional play, it was so easy for them to start freezing people because it's just such a broken combo. Pharah, rocket launcher. So her rocket launcher. Explosive damage increased from 65 to 80, meaning her splash damage deals more damage. Impact damage decreased from 55 to 40. I'm not sure why they would decrease direct hits and buff AoE damage. The only way I can take it from is that they didn't feel Pharah was strong enough against some of these higher side bunker compositions, so they decided to try to balance her in a way where she will be far more stronger. Because the fact that her splash damage is increased from 65 to 80 is a lot when you think that that would be chained on to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players, which is a lot. That damage increase scales very, very fast. I'm not sure why the impact has been decreased. Maybe because they play tested themselves and decided that giving her 55 direct hits and 80 splash damage was a little bit too strong. But yeah, she got a small buff, and she's much better against bunker team composition now, and so on. She still gets shut down by its kind of players and so on, which is still the issue. But I know some nutty Pharah players that I've coached before that will be excited that they can now just build bowers much faster than what they could before. And in the end, Reinhardt, his steadfast passive knockback resistance has been reduced from 50 to 30, probably because it felt like you could do nothing against Ryan anymore, and they didn't want him to feel like he was a completely unmovable object. And they might have thought that, yeah, I'm not really sure, might because Ryan is a little bit too strong right now, and the fact that it's kind of like Reinhardt players are probably mad because the most frustrating thing is to play Ryan and get completely CC 24/7, 365. Having that 50% resistance really helped against Lucios and Orissas and so on, and was really, and also Diva players for that matter, which have been strong in the meta for a while now. And reducing it down to 30, I know some Reinhardt players that will probably be irritated with it, and I think that's something that needs to be playtested to see how good it is. But I do to a certain extent agree, because trying to use crowd control abilities on the Ryan outside of stuns, and even the stuns are a little bit but using crowd control ability on a Ryan is not as effective. Well, it doesn't feel like you're really doing anything to him. That's, I think, what's more coming onto it, and I think that's why they do it. But I'm not really sure how I feel about this, because at one point I understand how frustrating it is to be faced with where you have to hold up the shield, at the same time there's a Lucio that's constantly just trying to push you. You're getting halted by the Orisa, there's Diva pushing you back as soon as you try to advance. So I think that's something that a more experienced Reinhardt player should comment down in the comment section. Of course, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Helps out. Very, very much appreciated. That's all for this video. Please take care, stay positive. I love you guys very, very much. My name's Joe. You guys keep telling me, and you're crosshair.